Did you know the FDA finally banned red food dye #3? This synthetic dye, often found in food, medicine, and a lot of processed foods, has been linked to serious health issues. Today, we're going to talk about why this is such an important decision and how you can protect yourself and your family from harmful food dyes. Hey guys, I'm Kieran Campbell, registered dietitian, and you are watching Heart Health on the Road. I think most of us are aware that food dyes are harmful. We might not know exactly why or how they're harmful, but we know they're not natural ingredients, and that's kind of frowned upon. So we see labels when we're shopping that say dye-free or free of artificial or synthetic colors, things like that, which should be an indicator to us that maybe we should stay away from these things. And maybe when you see these words and labels, it makes you wonder if companies felt the need to inform you that these products are free of artificial colorings and dyes for a reason. So the fact is, many synthetic food dyes have been linked to a range of health conditions and concerns. Studies show that they trigger hyperactivity in kids, cause allergic reactions, and in some cases have been connected to more severe health risks like cancer. So these food dyes are used to make food look more appealing, but at what cost? And since my main focus has always been on heart health, I wanted to do a little research on food dyes and cardiovascular disease. What I found was that recent studies haven't really established a direct link between artificial food dyes and heart disease, but some research has explored the broader health implications of food additives, which might indirectly affect heart health. Some of the potential links between food dyes and heart health are things like behavioral and metabolic effects. So, for example, some studies suggest that food dyes can contribute to hyperactivity, like I mentioned, in children, behavioral changes in children, and we know that hyperactivity can lead to stress and higher cortisol levels, which over time might negatively affect your heart health. It can also cause increases in inflammation and oxidative stress. So basically, chronic inflammation is a risk factor for heart disease. So that's what's going on there. So foods containing synthetic dyes are often ultra-processed foods. So they're high in sugar and salt and unhealthy fats. These foods are directly linked to things like obesity and high blood pressure and other factors that can increase your risk for heart disease. And then, of course, I found some animal studies. The research on that showed that food dyes might impact the heart and your liver. For example, high doses of certain dyes caused changes in organ function, although the relevance to humans is still kind of unclear. More research needs to be done in that area. So although there's not a direct link, direct evidence linking artificial food dyes to heart disease, the consumption of ultra-processed foods containing various additives and food dyes, including emulsifiers and synthetic dyes, may have indirect effects on heart health. So ultimately, it's best to monitor and moderate your intake of these additives as part of an overall heart-healthy dietary pattern. Okay, so let's talk about the perpetrator in question here, Red Dye No.3. What is Red Dye No.3? Basically, Red Dye No.3, it's known as erythrocin, and it's actually made from petroleum. Kind of weird, huh? It's actually been banned in cosmetic use for over 30 years. It was banned in 1990 because of its carcinogenic properties. Go figure. Carcinogenic meaning cancer-causing. More specifically, it was causing cancer in male lab rats. But it continued to be used in food and drugs. Red Dye No.3, it's a synthetic food coloring. It's commonly used to enhance the appearance of processed and packaged foods. It is most often found in products that are aimed to be visually appealing or brightly colored. Obviously, it's Red Dye No.3, so it's a red food dye. So some of the common foods, there's actually a whole bunch of foods, like thousands of foods that contained Red Dye No.3. Some of these include candy and sweets like gummy candies, lollipops, hard candies, gumdrops, candy canes. It's in baked goods and desserts like frostings and icings, pre-packaged cakes, cookies, pastries, donuts that have the bright red glazes on them, cake decorations and sprinkles. I know my kids love sprinkles. It's in some Jell-O products like pink and red gelatin desserts, colored fruit snacks. If you ever have any fruity flavored drinks, especially cherry, strawberry, or raspberry beverages, it might have Red Dye No.3. Energy drinks might have it. They're in processed fruits, like those canned maraschino cherries, fruit cocktail, the cherries in the fruit cocktail, liquid medications like cough syrups, chewable vitamins, especially the kids' vitamins, and some coated pills and tablets. So lots and lots of food products that you need to watch out for that still have Red Dye No.3. Okay, so how do we identify Red Dye No.3 on food labels? I will tell you. Check the ingredient list. If you see Red Dye No.3, FD&C Red No.3, or erythrocene on ingredients list, then that's an indicator that that product has Red Dye No.3 in it. But here is the scary part. Even though today, January 15th, 2024, the FDA is officially made the statement that they're going to ban Red Dye No.3. Manufacturers actually have until January 15th of 2027 to reformulate their products. And the companies that make dietary supplements will have an additional year to reformulate their products. For reference, like I mentioned, that the time I'm recording this video, it is January of 2025, so that's 2 or 3 years from now. So since it's still used in various processed foods, it's important for us to read labels carefully. Many manufacturers are now replacing the Red Dye No.3 with Red Dye No.40, which has its own health concerns that I'm not even going to get into. So opting for foods made with natural fruit and vegetable colorings or minimally processed foods are your safest alternative. So what else can we do? Other safe alternatives include choosing foods with natural colorings like beetroot powder, turmeric, spirulina, or other natural fruit and vegetable dyes. You can also focus on whole foods with minimal processing, which are naturally free of synthetic dyes and other additives. Another thing I really like to encourage people to do is make more meals at home. Good old home cooked meals. When you cook at home, you know exactly what's going into your food. You can avoid any harmful additives like synthetic food dyes, preservatives, excess salt and sugar, or anything that's often hidden in packaged and fast foods. So also when you eat out at restaurant meals and fast foods, they might seem convenient, but they again often contain artificial ingredients, flavor enhancers, hidden calories, which are just going to increase your risk for obesity, high blood pressure, all those risk factors for heart disease. Plus, natural coloring agents like beet juice or turmeric can replace synthetic dyes without compromising on the flavor of the food. So it's adding a lot of antioxidants too when you add things like turmeric. And beet juice has health benefits also. So whenever possible, skip the drive-through or the packaged meals and spend some time in your own kitchen. Not only will you protect your heart, but you'll also, you can make things dye-free. No artificial ingredients whatsoever. You'll also enjoy the satisfaction of, knowing exactly what's on your plate. Ultimately, the FDA's recent food ban on Red Dye No.3 is a win for public health. I know we've been trying to get rid of food dyes for many, many years, and we've been advocating for that, but it's just the beginning. What other harmful additives are still out there? There's probably quite a few, but by staying informed, keeping up with the research, reading food labels, reading ingredients lists, and preparing more home-cooked meals, we can actually make smarter choices and encourage brands to prioritize safety over aesthetics. I would love to know, what are your thoughts on this ban or food dyes in general? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any updates, and stay tuned for more episodes of Heart Health on the Road.